It's not clear to me. The longing for the physical presence of the Guru, what? Huh? Is it a limitation? Or you're saying it seems to be a limitation? Huh? It seems to be a limitation for you. Is that what you mean? It's a statement or a question? Huh? It's a statement. It's a question. What you refer to as the Guru is just a certain energy, certain possibility. It's not the person. Right now, it is… a certain person has become a representative of that energy and that space. Right now, if you have to see, you need light. It's light that you need, not that particular light bulb. So what you seek here is the light that is coming forth, not the particular light bulb. But right now, that particular light bulb happens to be the source of light. So, you tend to think, I cannot exist without the light bulb. It is true, one level it is true. But the nature of the Guru is not limited to time and space. So, it is not because you sit next to the light bulb, you get the maximum light. You could be 1,000 miles away and you may receive more grace than the person who is right now sitting next to that person. You know the old story of Gautama and Anandatirtha. Anandatirtha, out of his own device and deception, he devised it in such a way that he will always be in Gautama's physical presence. Gautama warned him, this is not good to fix up life like this. You are fixing me up like a wife would fix her husband. Because Anandatirtha, being Gautama's elder brother, before he took his monkhood, he put a condition on Gautama. He said, right now I am your elder brother. I can command you to do whatever I want. But once I become your disciple, I will have no such power. So let me exercise this right. And now I am telling you, after I become your monk and your disciple, never should you send me away from your physical presence. I must always be in your physical presence. Never you should say, go there, do that, do this. Always you must keep me next to you. Gautama said, you are trying to fix me up like a wife. Never you should love anybody, never you should do this. This is not good for you. This is not at all in the interest of your well-being. But as an elder brother, you are asking me, and if you insist, I will abide by this. But I'm telling you, this is not good for you. Ananda said, it doesn't matter, but I must be in your physical presence. He stretched it to ridiculous lengths. This wanting to be in the physical presence of Gautama, he stretched it to ridiculous lengths. It came to a point where after 8 years' break, Gautama went back to see his wife who was his wife at least, Yashodhara. Yashodhara is a very proud woman. Gautama, being her husband at that time, and Yashodhara with an infant child, Gautama left the house without telling her in the middle of the night like a thief. He did that because he admitted that he did not have the courage to face her. If he looked her in the eye, his determination to go in search of truth may falter. If he looks at his child, when the child is awake and calls him father, his longing to know may falter. So he left in the night. Now he's going back after 8 years, a fully enlightened being. But he is sensitive enough to appreciate the emotions of Yashoda, how she would have felt and how she is still angry with what happened to her life. What happened to Gautama's life is fantastic. What happened to Yashodhara is not a good thing. He knows that. So he is going there to see what he can offer to her now to compensate for what she has lost in these 8 years. So it is a sensitive situation. So he told Ananda, this once relieve me from the promise that I made you. This is not for myself. For me, she is no more my wife, I have grown beyond those things. But for her, I am still her husband who deserted her without telling her, without giving a warning about it. So this is a sensitive emotion for her. She is a proud woman. It is not good for you to be there. Ananda said, you must keep your promise. Gautama bowed down and said, okay. And he took him there also into that situation. When Yashodhara saw that he's come with an assistant monk to face her, she just flew into a rage. Gautama knew this. He said, this once relieve me of this promise that I made. This is nothing spiritual that you are going to miss anything. This is about my wife. But he said, no. Then, towards the end of Gautama's life, Gautama's work created many enlightened beings. But Ananda was still the same man. One service he has done for us is, he recorded everything, events that happened according to his understanding. But he recorded everything very diligently. So people asked, why is he still like this? So many people just came and met you for a moment and they got enlightened. They have transformed themselves in so many ways. But he's always sitting next to you, and why is he like this? Gautama just said, a spoon cannot taste the soup. So the physical presence, is it important? It is very important. But the physical need not mean the physical body. The grace is not an airy thing. We can make it very physical. A guru's grace is not some airy thing that you imagine. It is a very physical presence. It's as physical as the breeze that you feel. It's as physical as the sunlight. Is that enough physical? Or you want it this physical? This physical is not of any great importance. It yaps though. But The guru is not in the talk. The guru does not exist in the speech. There is a willy man in the speech. The guru does not exist in the speech. The guru is on all the time, speech or no speech. But you pay attention to him only when this willy man is speaking. If you learn to pay attention to him all the time, you will see he is very physically with you, very physically, as physical as sunlight, as physical as the breeze that you feel. I think that much physicality is enough. More than that, it could be a trap. We could hype it a little more if you want. We can make it a little more physical, but it need not be this physical. So it is not a limitation. Initially, when a person is just beginning to become receptive, being in the physical presence of the guru becomes very essential because your way of perception is only seeing and hearing and five senses. Because of this, you want to hold him in your eye, you want to hold him in your ears. This is the way you know he's there. Yes, it is a necessity in the beginning, but you need not remain there all the time. He will be very physically present in different ways. It is the light that matters. You don't have to hug the light bulb. You don't go and hug the sun, do you? You enjoy the sunlight, it's nourishing your life. You don't even look up at him, still you enjoy the sunlight. Just that way.
So, Guru, my question is about the verse 47, chapter 2. This verse is considered to be the most quoted verse as a central teaching of Gita, and it is about action without expectation of its result.
Having acquired the state of a warrior, you are now eligible to act in whatever way the stature of a warrior demands out of you, but you are not entitled to any benefits resulting from your actions. At the same time, you are not entitled to a state of not acting at all. Thus you should act according to your stature without any hope of enjoying the fruits of your action. So, yes, maybe this is the most quoted verse. I really don't know who made this one the most popular thing. I think it's Mahatma Gandhi, because he had a political agenda to fulfill. Vivekananda also said this, okay. He is a missionary too. He has an agenda. He has a revolution in front of him, a dream of a revolution in front of him. So, to inspire people, definitely this is important. And it's not just about that, it's not just because of the agenda. See, action is inevitable. You are not in a state, even if you wish, you are not in a state to withdraw from action. When we say action, action is not just the physical action. You act physically, you act mentally, you act emotionally, and you can act in the level of your energy too. So at least physical, mental and emotional activity you're doing all the time, isn't it? Are you capable of inaction? We're trying hard for shunya. You're not capable of inaction. Anyway, you're performing action. Whether you wish or you don't wish, you're anyway performing action. Most of the action in 24 hours' time is purposeless action, with enormous desire for what result you may get out of it. I would say for a large percentage of humanity, their whole mental activity is generally about dreaming about what they would get out of a little something that they have done in their life. Isn't it so? Yes? A large part of their mental activity is just about this, the little something that they have done. What are all the things they are going to receive out of those little actions that they are doing? Their whole mental activity is in this. So, very much perceiving that, he is saying this, it's a wasteful life, because when you are concerned about the result of action, it becomes karma. When action is not for what benefit you get, you're just doing it because it's needed, it becomes dharma. Dharma has been translated as duty. It is not necessarily duty. The word duty is too limited. Dharma encompasses much more than duty. So, the difference between dharma and karma is just this. Dharma is a liberating force, karma is an entangling force. So, karma in terms of action is inevitable. Anyway, you have to perform action. Whether you sit or stand or you lie down in your bed, you're still doing something in your mind or your emotion, isn't it? Even if physically all the time you're resting, still you're performing action. So are you performing action to entangle yourself? Are you performing action to liberate yourself? So here he's just giving you a simple tool to use action as a process of liberation. Maybe the reason why it is the most quoted verse is because this is the greatest affliction in the world, that people cannot be still for a moment. People are ill only because they do not know how to be still. If they knew how to be still, there would be no illness really. If you can just make yourself absolutely still, you will see there will be no such thing as illness. Because stillness is out of question, activity is inevitably happening every moment of your life, awake or asleep, still activity is going on. Because activity is 24 hours, everything else is on and off, but your activity is 24 hours. So definitely more attention has been paid to this verse. I think it's appropriate, don't you think, to pay attention to this, because it is something that's on all the time and constantly entangling. The very way people think and feel, aren't they entangling themselves in their life? They don't have to do any great actions like Krishna, they don't have to go and fight battles and try to make and break kingdoms. No, they can just sit at home and wind themselves up into nonsense. They're such experts, aren't they? Isn't it so? Every action that you perform, whatever, it can either liberate you or entangle you. In a Louisiana bar one evening… You come from Louisiana? Huh? No, I know. She made faces, so I thought she's from there. In the evening, a young singer strumming his guitar and in a high-pitched nasal voice was screaming away, "Oh, my old Virginia home, oh, my old Virginia home," with a very high-pitched nasal voice. An old-timer was sitting in the corner of the bar and having his drink, and he burst into tears, put his head down on the table and just cried. The hostess in the bar went up to him and said, "Sir, why, are you from Virginia? Are you a Virginian?" He looked up and said, "No, I am a musician."
The last part of 35, what three worlds is he referring to?
O Govinda, of what use is kingdom and happiness when those with whom we may enjoy these are now arrayed in battle? When teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons and brother-in-laws and other brethren are standing here ready to fight, risking their lives, I have no desire to kill even those bent on killing me. O Krishna, I am not ready to fight with the sons of Dhritarashtra, even in exchange of the three worlds, much less an earthly kingdom. O Mahadeva, we will only incur sin by killing these aggressors. It is not right for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. How can one be happy after destroying one's own family? So what are the three worlds? To put it in Sanskrit language, this is… today it has become a narrower interpretation. It is called Naraka and Swarga. Today, because of English language, advent of English language, they have started translating Naraka, Swarga as heaven and hell. But it is not necessarily in those terms. Or some places, I have seen people translating it as neither world and hither world. In the Buddhist way, they talk about the lower world and the higher world. One thing is this world, the physical reality, as we went through it, the play of five elements. Once the play of five elements is over, once that game is up, life is still on. That life which is still on has been categorized into two ways. Is one up and another down? That's not the way. Up and down is more metaphorical, more in terms of your understanding and experience. Depending upon the nature of the being, some beings get into a torturous state. Even living here, with the play of elements, some people have become a torture within themselves. Some people have become a joy within themselves, isn't it so? All of us have come with the same ingredients, but just see how we have become, each one of us. One is in fear, another is in anger, another is anxiety, another is joy, another is love. Isn't it so? Same ingredients, but see how the cooking has turned out. Each one got baked in different ways, isn't it? Why human life, the importance of human life is constantly stressed is, here you have come with discretion. Only here you can employ your discretion to enhance yourself. In the other two worlds of torture and bliss, let's call this world, one as a torturous world, another as a blissful world. Because the words heaven and hell have wrong implications. It sounds different in different people's minds. Either you have become a torture or you have become a bliss. You have lost your body. But now you have no choice. You have no discrimination capabilities because your intellect is gone with the body. Because intellect is gone, you just move according to your tendencies. Now you have created a torturous tendency, you cannot stop it. Simply torture just goes on till that energy works itself out to a point where it can find another body or whatever. So in these, the beings who exist in the torturous world and the blissful world, they have been categorized in different categories. This is where the yakshas, the gandharvas and all these people, the devas and others come. They are the blissful beings, but different levels of blissfulness. So in these three worlds, only in this world, the physical, where the intellect is active, you have discrimination. You can make something out of yourself. In the other two worlds, either you suffer or you enjoy, according to the tendencies that you have created. Your tendencies will carry you on, not your discrimination. Unfortunately, for most human beings, even now, their tendencies are carrying them on, not their intelligence, not their awareness. Even now, it is their tendencies which are carrying them on, isn't it? If you are given a choice, if you live by choice moment to moment, I am sure that you would definitely choose to live blissfully, joyfully, loving, yes? But that is not happening 24 hours of the day, simply because you are going by your tendencies, not by your choice. Though you have the discriminatory capability, the discrimination is not in full effect. Only here and there you're using, but not really being put to use properly. If your discriminatory process, if your intellect was truly active, you would be the way you choose to be. You would not be subject to the tendencies within you. No matter what karmic tendencies are playing, no matter what outside forces are provoking you right now, if you functioned according to your discrimination, you would just be the way you wish to be right now in this moment. And this power and this capability and this possibility exists only when you're here as a human being in this world. If you go to the torturous world or to the blissful world, in both those, you have no such choice, you have no such possibility or no such capability. You just float along. Torture means torture, bliss means bliss. There are any number of, lore in India to support this, how gods, if they want to advance themselves from the state where they are, the devas, come down as human beings and do the necessary sadhana, because here the discriminatory ability is there. One who does not employ his discrimination is as good as not being here. It is just a waste of time and life and food. Because you're holding the body and not employing the discrimination, you're floating along as if you belong to the other world. You're floating along by your tendencies, you're being pushed by your tendencies as if you don't belong to this world of possibility, you belong to that world of passivity. So, you will get there. But right now, this world is most important because you have the discriminatory capabilities here. Employ your discrimination. If you employ your discrimination 24 hours of the day, blissful is all you will be. There is no other way to be. Yes? You're floating away with your tendencies.
We are so much conditioned with the society, with our parents' education and school education and everything. So to have a freedom of choice, you have to be free from that and you have to have a free intellect. So what are the tools to reach that state, which is turning from green, which is most of people from dark bright yellow, to blue, to which what you are turning us now. And in case we do that, how to sustain the blue because it's so delicate and we could lose it at any time.
It definitely is not delicate, it's very doughty. It is very… Body is delicate, the world is delicate and fragile. This blue is not delicate. This is a self-sustaining thing. It lasts beyond the body and the world. The world may end tomorrow, this blue will not end. So it's definitely not delicate. What are the tools to get there? Right from day one, from that day when you came to the introductory, from that day we've been working on you, same thing in different ways. We just made it look different for you, because otherwise you would leave. But it's the same thing. From day one we are saying the same thing and the same thing and the same thing, because there is only one thing to be said. You saw that cute boy yesterday? Because there is only one thing to be said. That's what it means. When God raised his finger, he just indicated there is only one thing. That's all you need to know. You don't have to this many things, you just have to know one. In that oneness there is everything. So from day one, everything that we have done is to transform you from an exclusive being to an inclusive being. We made you all one color now to make you inclusive. But always your ego is trying to be exclusive. Yes? The whole effort is to be exclusive. So switching from exclusiveness to all-inclusiveness, switching from passion to compassion. When I say compassion, don't think of compassion as kindness. Compassion is not kindness. It's wild passion, which does not exclude anything. Passion is a small thing. You can't keep it forever, it's just on and it just dies off. Compassion, because it's all-inclusive, it has so much fuel to burn, it's on all the time. Passion is exclusive, focused on one thing that will burn out in no time. If you become all-inclusive, you are blue. We don't have to talk colors to you. A moment of inclusion will naturally make it that way. Not because you paint yourself blue, it will happen. So that we are having fun, making an effort too in that direction. But not because you wear blue clothes and blue paint and blue everything, it'll happen. Let's go. It'll happen because you have removed the barriers of your individuality to welcome the universality that you really are. The whole essence of Gita is in what is called as Vishwarupa Darshana. He said all these things, 18 chapters. But this guy went on asking more questions and more questions and more questions and more questions. Krishna thought, enough talking, it's time for action. So, he just burst forth into a form which was all-inclusive. Arjuna was just dazed by this form. whatever he considered as good and bad and animal and human and godly and demonic, everything was there in Krishna for a moment of his vision. He saw Krishna as absolutely all-inclusive. This is known as Vishwarupa Darshana, that means an universal form, not an individual form. He revealed himself in a universal form. And that is when he settled a sort of. So, what tools? Everything that we have done till now, not just in Leela, from day one, is a tool. We need not put on blue lights and blue clothes. If you use those tools that were offered to you fully, by now all of you should have been dripping blue. But it's all right, we'll work. I'm patient.
Sadhguru, this is chapter 3, text 5. No one is ever free from action. Every moment of their lives, people are forced to act whether they like it or not. This is because of the influence of the gunas.
No one is ever free from action. Every moment of their lives, people are forced to act, whether they like it or not. This is because of the influence of the gunas. I think we just went through this. Anyway, the gunas part. All the activity in the world, all the quality of the world has been identified as three basic gunas: tamas, rajas and sattvic. This can also be talked in terms of creation, maintenance and destruction. So what is called as sattva is closer to liberation. What is called as rajas is closer to maintenance but entangling. What is called as tamas is closer to death and destruction. Lethargy, inertia is called tamas. Activity is called rajas, transcendence is called sattva. Even the foods have been classified as tamas, rajas and sattvic. We are calling it zero pranic, positive pranic, negative pranic, it's just the same thing. So these three gunas are constantly influencing everything. Or to go more by modern science, you can even refer to them. The basis of these gunas is the three fundamental forces in the existence. In their physical format, we can call them proton, neutron, electron. Out of them, certain qualities have come out, three basic category of qualities. So these three qualities are constantly at play with you. As long as the gunas are at play, activity is inevitable. So somewhere else, Arjuna asks a question. You are saying the divine, the God exists in everybody and everything, in me and in you, in the same proportion. That's important. It's not in Krishna it is more and in Arjuna it's in a lesser proportion. Krishna is insisting, divinity exists in the same proportion in you and me and everything. You can neither kill it, nor can you create it, nor can you do anything about it. So Arjuna used that and asked the question, you are saying divine exists everywhere. If divine exists in Duryodhana also, my enemy right now, why is he doing such evil things? What is God sitting there in him and doing? You are struggling to establish dharma, you are staking your life for it, but what is the bloody God doing? That's a question. So Krishna laughed and said, the laughter has been taken out of the book. Krishna said, God or divine is nirguna. That means he has no attributes, he has no qualities. The whole existence functions on these three basic qualities. The physical reality happens because of these three basic qualities. Everything physical is associated with either of these qualities or a combination of these qualities. But that which is the source of creation does not belong to these three qualities. It is nirguna, free of gunas. These qualities or attributes do not exist there. Because of that, God cannot act. Though you have always been told God will act and make things happen for you, if you have enough experience in your life, you know God does not act. Because he cannot act, because he has no gunas. He is nirguna, so he cannot act. So what is the use of this guy who does not act? This is a question that always comes for people who are in helpless action. People are not in action by choice, they're helplessly active, they cannot do anything else. Whichever way they are, they have to do something. So if somebody is not doing anything, then they will always ask this question, why are they not doing anything? They don't understand. Not doing anything takes one to go beyond the gunas, beyond all attributes, which is the basis of this trap. If one transcends the three gunas, he's also transcended the five elements and the mischief of the five elements. He has transcended the physical itself. So what you refer to as the divine is beyond the gunas, so it cannot act. It's a reservoir of creation. It is the seed. Seed is not doing anything. The tree is doing so many things. It gives you shade, it gives you mangoes, it drops coconuts on your head. It does so many things, but the seed is not doing anything. Shall we destroy the seed? Seed is inactive, isn't it? So God is the seed of life, he is inactive. A seed cannot just jump and do something, but it is only because of the seed the tree exists right now. So the gunas belong to the tree, not to the seed. The play of gunas are on, so activity is inevitable.